Pleasure to call to order the, I suppose this is a special council meeting of the Cache Creek Council, May 12th, 2026. There's apparently a public presentation. CFO Martini will present the 2026 budget.
Yes, I'd like to put on again. No, here it is. Sorry. Okay, so I'm having technical difficulties. Okay, so it's again the time of the year where we have to do the budget and create the 5-year financial plan for sustainability of our community. And I just want to have a few words about our process. The property tax, when you guys receive the notices, is just to say that not the entire amount is remaining within the municipality. We have to remit to other government. And here is where I have the technical difficulty.
It's not changing.
It's not
changing there when she changes here.
Okay, let's see. Is this the right one? No. Okay.
There.
No.
It's just upset with me. It just doesn't want my things. It switched. No.
I'll just leave it this way. Fine. Let's
There you go.
those down. Okay, so we remove stuff. Okay, so not the entire levy that we collect is going to remain within the municipality. Some of the levies are going to be remitted for the school, policing, hospital, and regional district. Property taxes, as I said, are comprises of the school policing levies, the TNRD hospital, BCA, the MFA, and then there are the frontages which we collect, especially for improving our infrastructure. And based on the tax assessment, based on the assessment value of the property times the mill rate that is going to be adopted by the council divided by $1,000, that's going to be the levy that is going to be produced. And the assessed value is being generated by the BC assessment, and they obviously have their formula of creating that assessment value. And this year it increased on approximately 1.2% on average from 2025, with the residential values going up 1.4%. The tax rate or the mill rate is being determined internally and in order to create a balanced budget, and it's adopted by the council. And again, in order to balance the budget, we have to look at the economic conditions and the inflationary rate and so on. So in Canada right now, we have a situation where we have to, based on the neighbor down south, we are going to be hit by tariffs. We already are. Inflation rates are increasing, and then the consumer spending and the productivity are affecting the budgets. The inflation rate was about 2.4% at the end of March 2026. There is also a big fear of a global recession. The productivity has worsened during the time, and there is a supply chain shortage. Fuel prices are up, so that's going to hit us a lot because we use a lot of fuel in our operations. The equipment and the suppliers are much costlier due to the tariffs, and there are capital investments that we have hard time budgeting because of the aging of the infrastructure. So just an example of a constraint, the environmental uncertainties are a factor that we have to take into consideration. Like for example, in 2023, the freshet hit the community really hard. We had a response of approximately $800,000, and we are still working on recovery from that freshet. In 2024, for example, the village portion of the recovery was about $250,000, and we project in 2026 to about $275,000. Also, the water consumption is hard to project because we, as a community, consume a lot of water. For example, the 100-mile house with a population double of ours, and the hospital in use uses much less water than Cache Creek. Our main problem as a community is that we have a small tax base, and so we can only raise that much revenue to cover our operations. Of course, the outdated infrastructure is a major constraint. We still rely on external sources of revenue like the landfill to cover for the operation, and there is also a lack of industrial and business diversity. However, we have opportunities. There are potential for residential development to expand the tax base, opportunities to improve the business in the downtown core, the undeveloped industrial zone properties that are there, and commercial properties that are held vacant. Now, as a municipality, we are bound to use the fund accounting, and that requires us to have the water operations separated, water and sewer separated from the general operations, as well as holding separate the reserves. The general fund comprises of administration, public works, waste collection, which is garbage, streets and road maintenance, protective services, recreation, emergency operation, and transportation. The water fund comprises of the treatment of the water, the reservoirs, the wells, and the pump houses, and then the infrastructure that is underground to have the water delivered to the households. The sewer fund takes into consideration the treatment of the waste water, the underground collection system, the lift stations, the treatment, and the disposal of the sludge. And for the reserves, we have three types of reserves. We have the statutory reserve fund, which is for the cemetery. We have the non-restricting funds that are the landfill legacy, which we can use based on our needs. And then there are restricted reserves that the council makes determination on how they are being used and how much they are being contributed to. For the 2026-2030 financial plan, again, we are required to produce a balanced budget, and as such, the revenues and the expenses altogether will have to balance. Now, from property taxes, we estimate to collect in 2026 about $1 million. Parcel taxes about $500,000, and then there are services and other user fees. Actually, the user fees are the water fee, wastewater, and the garbage. And then we have grants that we estimate that in 2026 we are to receive about $5.6 million. And that's mostly grants that we have been approved to, or the assistance, the financial assistance from the province towards the 2023 freshet recovery costs. As of expenditure, we have the capital expenditure that are about $5.5 million, and if we go back to the revenues, we are going to see that the revenues grants are $5.6 million, so it's kind of a wash out there. The difference is our portion that we have to cover for the freshet. And then we project that the general municipal operation costs are 3.5, water 457,000, and the sewer 394. We expect to transfer towards reserve about 500,000, And of course, one big charge on our expenses, on our expenditure account is the amortization of our assets. Again, as I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, the tax rate times the assessed value divided by $1,000 makes up for the levy. And the tax rate is being adopted by the council in order to comply to community charge requirements. Now, the proposed mill rate increase is 3.55 this year for the residential owners, and for the utility 0 because we already maxed out. We are trying to balance the light industry to bring it down to be more in line with all the other light industry in the province, in order, because we have a few businesses that are practically light industry, but they are classified as businesses that we would like reclassification to the proper category. And for the businesses, the increase would be 5.74% on average. So yeah, the importance of a balanced budget is that if we don't pay for what is spent right now, we are going to end up paying more in terms of interest, and which municipality means that it's going to be more inflation that we have to cover. And if you guys have any questions, I will be happy to answer.
Any questions for the chief financial officer?
Compared to last year for the general fund, your office and things like that, how much have you decreased your expenses?
Well, we didn't decrease anything because we are pretty much bare minimum what we spend.
So no decrease on expenses then?
No, not considerable decreases to make much impact.
How much is of the reserve funds, is, you said like it's close to 500,000, what reserve funds is that, those funds going to, like you said, water, sewer, garbage? Is
Oh,
that
they
where
go
those
in different accounts because we try to kind of create reserves, to build up the reserves so we can use them whenever there is an emergency or there is a need for something to be purchased or
Okay.
fixed.
So we don't have an idea of how much was going into the water reserve fund? The
Oh,
garbage
yeah,
reserve fund?
there is something, but it's not detailed in the
Mhm.
presentation.
Okay, do you know roughly, like for water, sewer and garbage, because we need to look at a new garbage truck, we need to work
Yeah,
on our
those
water and our sewer. And I just wanna make sure that there is reserve, a specific reserve.
Yeah, there are,
for
the
that.
specific
They're all
reserves are all there, but not in detail for this purpose.
I think when the financial plan is,
Yeah.
their budget is presented.
Yeah.
The finalized budget,
It will be
you'll
more
show that.
detailed in there.
Additionally, like at the previous council meeting, you went into detail with council on the
Yeah.
specific reserve accounts.
Yeah.
And it showed your slides and showed the specifics. These are the reserve accounts. This is how much is going into them. And there was
Yeah.
also a slide that specifically said some of the bigger projects
Yeah.
that are worked on, like this year. This budget that's presented here right now factors in the purchase of a garbage truck this calendar year.
So that would be in the last
Council meeting.
council meeting minutes, so that wouldn't be available till the next council meeting, right?
Yes.
Cause it's not up there now, right?
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
They have questions too.
Yeah.
obviously.
Probably.
Three times,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite a large jump for the business tax. 5.7.
Well, no, because the business assessment decreased slightly. So, practically the aggregate increase is just like the residential, it's 5%.
5%.
Yeah.
Residential 3.5.
But the
But the
assessment values
assessment.
went up 1.4, so it's
Yeah,
almost
and for the
5%.
businesses, the assessment went down, and so the aggregate
But
increases.
what I'm looking at is my budget, so at 3.55%, what I'm paying out. It doesn't matter what the value of
So-
my house, it doesn't matter, it's the bottom line, my budget is what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a 3.55% increase in my budget.
So it
Expense.
depends on how you're looking at it. If you're looking at it in terms of dollar amount expended, or like going out the door, for every $1,000 you spent last year, you're going to see 5% more.
5% more.
Be it residential or commercial, because there was a drop in commercial assessments and an increase in residential. So both work out to about 5%.
Wow. Okay, that's,
Well, but considering that the fuel is already up,
yeah, well,
To
you're
50%.
looking at everything
Yeah.
else going up
exactly.
and a good majority of our community members are over 65, so they're on pensions, but the pensions don't increase,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, the issue is though, for your household expenses, the village's expenses also go up, and we have to cover those expenses, we can't run
but
a
you
deficit
haven't
if we're not.
decreased it. You haven't decreased your general expenses.
We did over the last 8 years. They have been gradually decreased. There was a big cut in last term, and they are holding the line at them and saving money whenever they can. But we can't control the cost of fuel. We can't control the cost of telephone. We can't control the cost of electricity. Like, it's our fixed expenses that are the biggest expense to us,
Yeah.
and labor.
No matter what we do, we have to pay BC Hydro, we have to pay Fortis, like, those are expenses that we cannot cut, unfortunately. So we are pretty much operating bare minimum.
Ooh, are you going to buy an electric garbage truck?
That would be cool,
Yes,
but I
again.
don't think,
They're way too expensive to purchase.
yeah, that would be.
They'll save you money.
Even when they give you rebates for them, they're too expensive.
Yeah.
Cause it, rough
It's
idea
not
of
in the
garbage
budget.
trucks right now, a garbage truck is running in at around $460,000 to $470,000 for one that's comparable to what we have today. We were looking at garbage, like electric garbage trucks, they're double. And then you factor in rebates, like rebates are to the tune, like if you can even get them, it just depends on what they are, to the tune of like maybe $75,000 to $120,000. So you have to look at it, even over the lifespan of the unit, are we gonna save $300,000? Maybe, but that's a pretty big gamble, to put in front of everything. So, and we don't have the money to spend that right now anyways.
It'll be just a regular garbage truck, it won't be like Ashcross got garbage and recycle.
I don't think they have recycling.
Oh, no.
No. It would be a very similar truck to Ashcross, the one that we're looking at, has the automated arm that goes out and grabs stuff and lifts and dumps, because that takes roughly half the time to do garbage, for residential compared to what our team does now.
Don't they do that anyway? Doesn't our truck have that?
They have to manually load
They
it.
have to manually.
Currently, they have to get out of the vehicle, go bring the can to the vehicle, and then dumps. It's not like.
Well, they only got side movement.
Yeah,
It's
like,
just
yeah, like it's not a
Doesn't go up.
huge thing, like it's not like labor intensive, it's just a time intensive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and additionally, the one that we're looking at has an actual compactor in it, so they have less trips to the landfill. Cause currently they do 4, 5 trips to the landfill each, garbage train. Theoretically, they should be able to do it in 2. And that in itself is like a 1 hour round trip almost, depending on how busy the landfill is. Anyways, a little off topic for me.
Sorry.
It's interesting.
Good, thank you, CFO Martini. We have a recommendation related to the 5-year financial plan.
So, that council give final consideration to and adopt bylaw number 2-023 2026 5-year financial plan. I so move.
Second?
Any discussion? I'm just, yeah,
I was just going to mention, maybe we should confirm if Councillor Dubois is still online. You still there, Dave?
he sounds,
Oh, yeah, I wasn't sure. Okay, just thought I'd check. Thank you.
that's good. Well, considering that the taxes are based on the 5-year financial plan, and I voted against the tax rate bylaw last time it came before council, I have a challenge in supporting the 5-year financial plan. As the question from the public was, have we done our best to reduce expenses? I don't think we have, and so I'll be voting against the 5-year financial plan. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. On to bylaw 2-024, tax rate bylaw.
I move that council give final consideration to and adopt bylaw number 2-024, tax rates 2026.
Second?
Any discussion? Same comments. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Is there any new business? Seeing none, questions from the public? Seeing none, you already shot your bolt. Any questions from the press?
Nothing today.
Thank you. Could I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved?
I'm not gonna argue that. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Thanks, everyone.